The Detroit Lions took on the Cleveland Browns yesterday in Week 4, and they ended up getting the win, as obviously all of you know by now. Did not make a video yesterday, did not make a preview video, but we are back. We're going to be going over, of course, all the stats like we always do in the roster moves from this past week. We'll do that at the end of the video. That way we can just go through the game first. Now, since it's a day late, I have watched half of the film. I still have the other half to watch. I watched the first half of the film, have not watched the other half. Don't really have much takeaways from it. Nothing has really changed from the game, if I'm going to be completely honest. That's the first game this year that has been the case. Obviously, we'll see once I watch the second half of the film. But, so nothing from the film is really going to change in my opinions here, because it's about the same from what I saw during the game. So, let's go ahead and start into it with the stats. Lions won 34-10. Now, they won by almost 4 scores. Technically 4 scores if you want to call it. 3 touchdowns, 3 2-point conversions. However, it was way closer than that if you watch the game. We really did not kill them like the score says. We really only beat them, it felt like, by maybe 10, 14 points. It really did not feel like we beat them by 3, almost 4 scores. It really, really did not feel like that. Lions headed to 3-1, and with the Packers playing arguably the game of the year last night on Sunday Night Football, with a tie, we are now number 1 in the division, so the NFC North once again runs through Detroit. We are not even, in my opinion, 0.5 games ahead in the division. We are 0.25, because if the Packers were to lose yesterday, that means we'd be 0.5 games ahead since they beat us. So if we were to lose next week and they were to win, just hypothetically, then they would take over in the division since they beat us in Week 1. But since they tied, we obviously still have the better record. We have the extra win. They have a tie. But now, if we tie next week and they win, they are now number 1 in the division. So it's really, we're only 0.25 games in the lead. It's technically 0.5, but in my opinion, we're only really 0.25 games ahead in the division. But doesn't matter. NFC North runs through Detroit. That's the main thing that matters there. Cleveland Browns dropped to 1-3 on the year. Jared Goff, not a great day by him. 16 for 27. That's one of his most inaccurate performances in a long time. 168, so that's one of the least amount of passing yards in a long time as well. 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Now, really, I would say at least 5 of those incompletions were to Jamison Williams. So you take out that, Jared Goff was decently accurate on the day. We'll just say hypothetically 21 for 27 on the day. Jamison Williams and Jared Goff could not connect this game. Something on the film and something on the game that just, no. There was no connection there. Credit the Browns defense. They played great for the most part. But there was just no connection. They were off all day. I can't tell you how many deep shots they took this game. They had to have taken at least 4 deep shots to Jamison Williams this game that did not connect. Jamison Williams should have caught one of them, and then the other ones were either on Goff or both J-Mo and Goff. So, Goff, not the best day by Goff. Again, some of it was due to the fact that Jamison Williams and Jared Goff not being on connection this game, but not as clean as game. But again, not the Browns' number 1 defense in the NFL prior to this game, so I'm not really tripping about it. We played the best against the Browns of any team this year besides maybe Baltimore, so I'm not concerned about it at all. Jared Goff is a fantastic quarterback. On to the running game, we definitely had the best running game of any team so far against the Cleveland Browns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 15 for 91, 6.1 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. He was very good for the most part. Really did not break a carry this game for, 30 yards. He had one opportunity to do that earlier in the game in the first half, I think it was. Or maybe it was third quarter. But besides that, he really didn't have any opportunities to even break a long run. But he was just consistent the whole day, getting 5, 6, 7 yards per run. Very consistent the whole day. That's what Jahmyr Gibbs is going to do typically when he doesn't break a long run. He's such a good running back. He's such a good running back. Moving on to David Montgomery. David Montgomery, not a great performance by David Montgomery today. 9 for 12, 1.3 yards per carry. Not a good day by David Montgomery. But, again, I didn't expect him to even have a good game. If I would have made a preview video, I would have said he probably would have been shut down a little bit today. like he was. Just he could not get anything going. Seemed like he was getting either tackled at the line of scrimmage every play or getting 1 yard. He was just could not get anything rolling, but I'm not surprised by that. He's not that fast of a running back. The Browns have a great defensive line with Myles Garrett and what's the guy's name? Can't believe I can't think of it. Shelby Harris and Malik Collins, specifically Malik Collins. They have a great defensive line. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Specifically Malik Collins there. But David Montgomery, not a great day by him. Jacob Sailors came in the game late, looked pretty decent, looked very quick on one of the runs, 2 for 11. I'm telling you, man, I think he was going to knock out Craig Rollins next year. I would not be shocked if he ends up knocking out possibly even Sione Vaki as well. Jacob Sayers for the running back 3 job next year. Still a decently young running back. I think he's only 25, 26. He showed a lot of bursts in his runs. He was the best running back in the UFL for these past 2 years. Would not be shocked that Jacob Sayers ends up being running back 3 or 4 next year. He was really, really good on special teams. Really, really good on the offense today for these 2 snaps, for these 2 carries. Looked just very explosive. He looked very explosive all preseason. Kyle Allen came in the game late, took a couple kneels. Jameson Williams had a jet sweep that went for -3 yards. St. Brown, 7 for 70, 2 touchdowns. St. Brown now has 6 touchdowns on the season. That's leading the NFL, and that is the most through 4 games in the season since, I think, Calvin Johnson back in 2011, where he had 8. So St. Brown is absolutely balling out this year. He's also 5th in receiving yards, or maybe it's 6th, with over 300. So St. Brown is absolutely balling out to start the season. He had a slow start last year to start the year, up until about week 3, week 4, but that's not the case this year. He's on pace for arguably more yards and more touchdowns than what he had in 2023, where he had over 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns. So he's on pace to break both of that. So St. Brown absolutely balling out to start this year. Again, Jameson Williams did have 2 for 40, so the yardage is there. He only has 10 receptions on the year, and he has like over 200 yards. It's crazy. I think J-Mo's got like 10 receptions for 215 yards or something. It's insane. But J-Mo, that's just a decent amount of yardage for having. He had to have at least 8 targets on the day. He had to have at least 8 targets on the day. I mean, if he would have connected on 2 of those, 6 deep balls or 5 deep balls, 4 deep balls that Goff throw, he would have had 100 receiving yards easily. It's just they could not connect. But Jameson Williams did not have a great day today. He also dropped 2 passes. Sam Laporta, 3 for 39. That's what Laporta is going to do for you, especially in this offense with so much talent. Raymond, 2 for 13. Gibbs, 2 for 6. Monty had 1 or 2 targets, but could not haul anything in. Jack Campbell, I said it, I think, in a couple videos ago, you're not going to be able to bring back everybody when it comes to future extensions. What would that player be that you would not bring back? And for a lot of people, it's between Sam Laporta and Jack Campbell, and that's the same thing for me. And you would extend Brian Branch and Jahmyr Gibbs as the other 2. I'm extending Jack Campbell. A lot of people are extending Sam Laporta, but even before Jack Campbell's had this breakout year, I'm like, man, it's really close. But I would extend Jack Campbell because, again, it is harder to find just a good linebacker in the NFL. By the way, Jack Campbell's already a good linebacker, but after how he's played this season, he is turning into not just a great linebacker, arguably elite linebacker. He's played phenomenal this year. He's balled out. But just say he goes back to, his 2024 self, good linebacker. It's harder to find a good linebacker in the National Football League than a great tight end like Sam Laporta. So I am re-signing Jack Campbell over Sam Laporta. Plus, also, typically linebackers are less expensive than great tight ends. Good linebackers are less expensive than great tight ends. So I would extend Jack Campbell. Obviously, if Jack Campbell keeps playing like this, he's going to be one of the highest paid linebackers in the league. I mean, he's absolutely balling out. He's playing better than Anzalone right now. I think with how he's playing, this is going to make the Lions' decision even easier on Alex Anzalone next year not to bring him back, and they'll probably bring back Rodriguez instead, who I don't think got actually an injury update on today. I'll check after this review part. But Jack Campbell been playing out of his mind. Shout out to Jack Campbell. 7 tackles on the day, made multiple crucial tackles. Alex Anzalone had a sack. I don't know when he got that sack. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I haven't seen that throughout watching the film so far, unless if I just completely missed it. So I'm going to have to look closely to when that happened. It must have been like a 1 or 2 yard loss was all, because I don't remember that happening. But Anzalone's been quiet this year, but a good quiet. Terry Arnold got hurt I believe, in the third quarter, left the game, did not return. Dan Campbell did post an injury update on him. He said that his injury is not as serious. Next week is probably about a 50-50 shot that he plays, but he expects him to fully be back by week 6 against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. So that is great injury news for Terrion Arnold. Now, Brian Branch also played today, and he had, actually I was going to talk about DJ Reed. DJ Reed, we'll go to him first. DJ Reed, he also got hurt in this game. He had a phenomenal interception before he got hurt. Probably will end up being a top 2, top 3 interception of the year when it comes to how good he caught the football. It was insane how good of an interception it was. DJ Reed's been very good for us all year. I said when we signed him, he plays a very, very good game, great game, or he does not have a good game. And so far this season, besides maybe week 1, he has played like a great cornerback. He has played like a top 10 cornerback in the National Football League, which he was when we signed him. So I think he's been an excellent replacement throughout Carlton Davis so far. He's arguably even played better than Carlton Davis in my opinion so far. That's what we saw Carlton Davis in this time. So DJ Reed, sucks for him that his injury. Dan Campbell said his injury is a little bit more severe, but it is not season-ending. He is an IR candidate. I don't expect him to be placed on IR because the Lions' bye week is in week 8. So I fully expect him to miss these next 3 games and whatever the bye week as well. But if the Lions place him on injured reserve, this is the reason why I do not understand why the Lions will place DJ Reed on injured reserve that people keep saying. If the Lions place DJ Reed on injured reserve, he has to miss the next 4 games, all right? With a week 8 bye that we have, that means he has to miss 5 total weeks. If the Lions do not place DJ Reed on injured reserve, you get to save a game from him. Because technically, if the Lions just keep him on the 53-man roster and don't put him on IR, he only has to miss 3 games. This is the bye week. But if they place him on IR, it's not 4 weeks that he has to miss, it's 4 games. So I don't understand that. Obviously, we don't know the full severity of it yet. But if it's just, like a 3 to 4 week hamstring injury that takes to recover, why would they place him on injured reserve? To save a roster spot? We already have a roster spot open, and I'll go over in a little bit why we have it. But I just don't understand that. So DJ Reed, don't expect him to be placed on IR. Going to be out a couple weeks, at least probably 3 weeks. But overall, I would say that's decently good injury news. But DJ Reed been fantastic starter this year. Derek Barnes played another great game today. That extension's looking better and better by the game. DJ Reader played probably one of his best games today, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Roy Lopez been a little bit quiet this year, but he's not been bad. Kirby Joseph got his 2nd interception on the year by a horrible pass by Joe Flacco. Grant Stewart was in there a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. Robertson was out there as well. I thought Robertson played a very good day today, and he's going to looks like he might be the new Lions cornerback 1 for the next game or so, depending on the Terrion Arnold injury. So we'll see how he handles that role. Rocky Sin came in late, and there's a potential that he'll be cornerback 2 next game. We'll see again with the Arnold injury. I expect Arnold to honestly play, but we'll see. Pat O'Connor's in the game. He always plays like about 40% of the snaps, 50% of snaps. Not been making a huge impact this year in the pass rush game, but he's been good in the run game. Craig Reynolds was inactive last week as a healthy scratch last week, which raised concerns about, okay, are the Lions taking Sione Vaki and Jacob Sailors over Craig Reynolds? But with Sione Vaki being out this week with an injury, which I didn't go over, obviously, because we didn't make a preview video, Reynolds was active and was very good on special teams. The special teams was improved today. Best it's looked all season, in my opinion. And Craig Reynolds made a big hit and tackle on special teams. And that's really it to highlight. Trevor Nowaski has some good pass rush snaps in there. He looked very good, honestly, to start the year last year when it came to rushing the passer. And then he just went to being not good at all at rushing the passer. So if he can play this year rushing the passer that he did start last year, because when he started the year rushing the passer last year after Barnes and Davenport, and especially after Hutch went down for, I would say, the first 5-6 games of the season, he looked very, very good. He really did. He looked like he could be a very decent backup edge for us. And then as the season just kept going along, he played worse and worse on the edge. So if Trevor Nowaski can go back full-time to what he did to start the year last year on the edge, very, very good option for the Lions as a depth piece on the edge rusher position. Tyler Sweet did not play a whole lot. Tyler Lacey Did not play as good as last week, but I did like what I saw from him again today. He also had 3 pressers, so that's good as well. I think that's been a good pickup for the Lions so far. Really, the only really good pickup out of the 4 that they made before the season started. Jacob Saylor's 25.5 yards on 2 kick returns. Khalif Raymond had a punt return touchdown that was beautiful right after the DJ Reed injury. So I was a little bit deflated when that happened because of that. But so there it is. And I forgot to mention here, I don't know how I completely missed it. Aiden Hutchinson, 2 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson, 2 sacks. Hold on. Sorry about that. But Aiden Hutchinson, he's back to his old form. Aiden Hutchinson has looked very, very good to start the season as the weeks have gone on. And in my opinion, this was his best game of the season. Should have had 3 sacks, got 1 taken back by a Brian Branch penalty, but he had 2 sacks on the day, one of them being a forced fumble, and the other sack that he should have got would have also been a forced fumble. So Aiden Hutchinson also had 9 pressures on the day. I think he had 10 last week, so 1 less this week. But nonetheless, Aiden Hutchinson balling out, going to win for sure comeback player of the year if he can stay healthy. And now he's back in the running for defensive player of the year after this performance. Was dominant versus the Browns. And on to Brian Branch, that didn't go over. Solid day for Brian Branch besides that penalty. Jake Bates went 100% with a long of 58, tying his career long. And Jack Fox, 44.2 yards per punt. A little bit of a down year to start this year for him. But, again, Jack Fox is still the best punter in the league, and that's not even being biased by any means. I mean, the stats are there. I think there's only one punter in the NFL Hall of Fame, but if Jack Fox can play another, I don't know, 8 to 10 more years in the NFL, because, I mean, that's typically what punters play, really good punters play till. He's like 28 right now, so he'd be about 36, 37, 38 by about that time. If he continues to play that long at this level, he should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's been absolutely incredible throughout his career. On the Browns, just run through this. Flacco, yeah, I used to be a Joe Flacco stan. I don't know if I ever posted on this channel, but like I don't want to say I predicted the resurrection of Joe Flacco in 2023, but when he was on the Jets, I'm like, man, I wish Joe Flacco could get another opportunity. I'm telling you, man, if he gets another opportunity, he can just – he's a baller. He's a baller. He got another opportunity with the Browns, came the starting quarterback in 2023 late in the season, and for the playoffs, looked very, very good, specifically in the regular season. 2024, he went to the Colts to be their backup. Did not play great when he had the opportunity to come in for Anthony Richardson. Then he goes back to the Browns to be the starting quarterback this season, and he's been dreadful. So he's been absolutely dreadful. So possibly this could be Joe Flacco's last career game starting. Unfortunate there because I do really like Joe Flacco. But yeah, he's not played good this game or at all this season. Under 50% completion percentage, 184 passing yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. I believe he's up to 6 picks now on the year. Dylan Gabriel, I want to say 3rd-round rookie, came in late with an incomplete pass was all. Quinn Shaw, Judd Kids, we held him to 3.9 yards a carry, which is good. On 21 carries for 82 yards. He did have a rushing touchdown. But overall, I mean, when you watch the film, I thought he played very good. Nobody else really did anything. Dylan Sampson, I want to say 5th-round rookie, had 1 carry for -2 yards. He's not been good to start his career. Jerome Ford, 1 carry for -1. Isaiah Bond, the UDFA rookie that had all the charges and stuff like that would have been possibly a first-round pick. 3 receptions for 58 yards, had his best career game so far. Jerry Jeudy, 3 for 48. Quinshawn Judkins, 4 for 33. Harold Fannin, 2 for 24. He played a lot better than that, though. He's hard to bring down, man. He's elusive, hard to bring down, a big body tight end. He looks really, really good. David Njoku, 2 for 11. Cedric Tillman, 1 for 6. Jerome Ford, 1 for 4. And that was it on the receiving end. On their defense, nothing to highlight here. Devin Bush, I thought, played pretty solid for him. But besides that, Denzel Ward had a pick. That was on one of those Jamison Williams Goff not good connections where he threw the pick, and that was more on Goff than on JMO there, but Goff underthrew it. But besides that, nothing to highlight there. Besides Myles Garrett balled out. I don't know how many pressures he had. He had to have at least 8. He played out of his mind. He did technically get 1 sack. However, it got called back by a penalty on Denzel Ward. So the Lions now have not allowed a sack in 3 straight games. They had 4 to open the year against the Packers and now have not allowed a sack for 3 straight games. So now they are tied. They are now tied for 3rd in the league for the least amount of sacks. The Lions' offensive line so much improved. Besides that, when it comes to the Lions' offensive line in the pass rush game, they held everybody else in sync. Myles Garrett was the only one who really got pressure on the defensive line. So Lions' offensive line continues to look better and better every week. The Lions' run blocking offensive line today was fine. It was fine. It was fine. Penei Sewell played really good, but besides that, again, I got to watch the rest of the film, but it was fine. It was fine. Now, on to the overall stats, and we'll go look at the signings from this past week, which was only one. 249 total yards for the Browns, 277 for the Lions, 170 passing yards for the Browns, 168 for the Lions, 79 rushing yards for Cleveland, 109 for the Lions, 3.8 yards per play for the Browns, 4.9 for the Lions, 16 first downs for the Browns, 16 for the Lions, 3 for 14 on third down efficiency for the Browns, 6 for 14 for the Lions. Fourth down efficiency, they went 1 for 1. We did not get our fourth down conversion, which I think is our first or second of the year is all. 65 total plays for the Browns, 56 for the Lions. Sacks allowed, 3 for the Browns, 0 for the Lions. 7 punts for the Browns, 5 for the Lions. 6 for 44 on penalties for the Browns, 6 for 35 for the Lions. Fumbles lost, 1 for the Browns, none for the Lions. Interceptions thrown, 2 for the Browns, 1 for the Lions. 31 minutes and 44 time possession for the Browns and 28 minutes and 16 seconds for the Lions. So overall, by the team stats, you would have thought this game would have been a lot closer. And again, watching the film, it was a lot closer. If you watch the game, it was a lot closer than what the actual score says. So credit to the Cleveland Browns. I thought they looked very good. They play Minnesota next week. In an international game, I don't know where it's at. I actually have them winning that game, not because it's just biasness. I don't want Minnesota to win. But I think Cleveland's looked decent this year. They've looked fantastic on defense. And if their offense can just get somewhat rolling, even if it's just like a top 20 offense, they could be a wild card team. They really, really could. That defense is deadly. So they played decently this game, the Lions and the Browns. Lions did not have their cleanest game by any means. I fully expect them to clean it up, so I'm not worried about it at all. Kind of a boring game, honestly, but they were able to pull out the win, so that's all that matters. Now let's go over the roster moves real quick, and then we'll wrap this video up. We'll try to just run through it. Hold on, I got to bring this up a little bit more. Zoom in to 200%, not 250, 200. They signed earlier this week, I believe on Tuesday, they signed tight end Ross Dwelley to the 53-man roster from the practice squad, and they signed veteran defensive tackle Quentin Jefferson to the practice squad. We'll go over his stats here in a minute. Really like that signing. When it comes to Ross Dwelley, the Lions needed to add a tight end to the 53-man roster after Shane Zylstra's got placed on IR. So now that third tight end spot on the 53-man has been filled by Ross Dwelley. We'll see how long that lasts. He could be only on the team for next week, or he could be on the team as the third-string tight end for the rest of the year. We'll see. And the other roster moves that they made was right before the game. Not too many roster moves. They placed safety Daniel Thomas on injured reserve. He got surgery, so I do not know the timeline when he will return. He could possibly be done for the year. We'll see. I don't expect him to be back in 4 weeks due to that surgery. Probably be until, I would say, it's gonna be at least 3/4 probably through the season before we see him again. He possibly could be done for the year, unfortunately. So a great special teamer goes down for the Lions there. And they elevated Jackson Meeks from the practice squad to the active and inactive list. He played decently on special teams from what I've seen. Wasn't involved in the offense at all. I think he played 2 or 4 snaps for the Lions when Kyle Allen came in and played garbage time. But didn't do anything. Lions didn't even throw the ball. But Jackson Meeks was elevated. That was his first elevation and first game during the regular season for the Detroit Lions. And we'll go over Quentin Jefferson's stats here, and then this video will be over. So, Quentin Jefferson, 6'4", 290. He can play DT and DE. Pretty good size. 32 years old. Will be turning 33 in March. Former 5th-round pick by Seattle in 2016. Had 2 sacks last season. His first year only played 3 games. 1 total tackle was all. His second year only played 6 total games. Did have 1 sack. Junior season, played every game. He had 3 sacks and a fumble recovery. His final season in Seattle, missed 2 games, had 3.5 sacks and a fumble recovery. And then he went to Buffalo in 2020, played every single game, 3 sacks, forced fumble, a fumble recovery. Then he went to Vegas where he played every single game, 4.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Then he went to back to Seattle, played every single game, 5.5 sacks. Then he went to New York in 2023 where he had his best career season stat-wise, missed 3 games, had 6 sacks, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery. Then he went to Cleveland in 2024, which, I mean, there could have been some scout team reps going on this week. Could have been the reason why we signed him, but I don't think that's why. I think they just want to add a defensive end / DT to the practice squad to have in case if a guy goes down at the defensive end position specifically. So I don't think that's what that signing had to do with. But he played 5 games with the Browns last year, had 1 sack. Then he went to Buffalo after that, where he ended up having 1 sack in 7 games. So played 12 games last year and had 2 sacks. So in his NFL career, he's played 115 games, 28.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 4 fumble recoveries, and 9 passes defended. So I really like the signing. He can play DE, he can play edge. He can play DE, he can play up the middle. Probably going to be more of a DE for us if he gets any reps, but he can play up the interior if needed. So I like the signing a lot. Low risk, high reward scenario. I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, there's nothing here that's going to blow you out the water. I mean, he just had 6 sacks 2 years ago. So we'll see when it comes to Quentin Jefferson if he makes any impact with the Detroit Lions. We'll see. But one pride go Lions. I do like the signing a lot. Probably one of the bigger in-season signings we'll make all season. When it comes to the cornerbacks for the Lions, Dan Campbell did say today that he does want the Lions to potentially add a cornerback this week with DJ Reed injury specifically to not replace him, but just get another cornerback in that room. So we'll see who that could be. Some big names left in free agency. The Lions won't trade for anybody, but some big names left in free agency. When it comes to the cornerback position, Asante Samuel, we'll see if he's fully recovered from his injury. Gilliak, Stephon Gilmore, future Hall of Famer. James Bradbury didn't play last year. He could be a low-risk, high-reward scenario. The former first-round pick, C.J. Henderson, is out there. Anybody else on the top of mind? Former first-round pick, Caleb Farley, is out there. Hasn't gotten a lot of playing time throughout his career. He could be an interesting signing. So those are the guys that come off the top of the head that are out there in free agency. C.J. Gardner-Johnson can play corner. Do not sign him to Detroit. He is. I'm not a fan of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So hopefully the Detroit Lions. Now, obviously, when we signed him, I was, but now that I've watched the game a lot more and I've paid attention to off the field stuff a lot more, yeah, I do not want him on my football team or even close to it ever again. But we'll see what the Lions add. I fully expect them to add at least 1 or 2 corners. When it comes to the other injuries that Dan Campbell mentioned in today's press conference, one of them was Miles Frazier. He said he is taking a little bit longer to recover than expected, but he's still progressing. So he'll probably be out a couple more weeks, and then hopefully he's back by at least after the bye. And then he did mention Aleem McNeil. This is some good news here. Aleem McNeil, he did say they could open his window this week. It's 21-day window, so that is huge. He could be back. Honestly, I expect Aleem McNeil to be back by Kansas City, so hopefully that is the case. That is fantastic news for the Lions up the middle when it comes to their pass rush. The Lions have not got a whole lot of pressure up the middle this year, but that's going to help. Tyler Williams has looked very good to start his NFL career when it comes to pass rush and run game, but when you get an elite pass rusher up the middle with Aleem McNeil, that's going to change that whole entire defensive line. So, one pride, go Lions. Good win. The Lions are now first in the NFC North, 3-1. We will head to Cincinnati and play at 4:25 Eastern Standard Time next week against Cincinnati in Cincinnati. I fully expect the Lions to win that game without Joe Burrow. It was going to be arguably the game of the year, in my opinion, if they had Joe Burrow, but now without Joe Burrow, the game's going to be a complete. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I don't like doing that, so I'm not even going to say it. But hopefully it should be an easy one for the Lions next week. But one pride, go Lions. We'll see if there's any videos during this week. If the Lions make a major move at cornerback, then we'll probably make a video. But besides that, I'll see you for the preview video next week. One pride, go Lions on Saturday. That will be. So not next week, this week. One pride, go Lions.